Hi guys, my first screen recording on my YouTube channel. So we are flying the 737-800 today, PMDG, out of Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. I'm going to turn on my track IR. Okay, just get it recalibrated here. Okay, looking left, looking right. Okay. Now let's go to the outside view. I'm going to turn off the track IR. We got some traffic lining up behind us. Oh, actually we have somebody landing right on top of us. I actually felt a bump in the butt kicker that I have on my seat here when that plane glanced off the top of us. Okay, they are clearing everyone to land on runway 26, which is where we are. So let's get our butts moving here. Okay, so we're going to put on RTO for our brakes. We're going to spool up to 40%. N2. Okay, and brakes are coming off. Full throttle. Hopefully we're making some ground. Okay, let's get back into the groove here. 80 knots, checked. Stay on the center line. Okay, there we go, and rotate. The plane's trim is not set correctly. We are taking a gear up. Let's put some trim in, bring that nose down. We can bring the throttles back slightly. Let's start bringing flaps up. Go flaps 1. Okay guys, this is my first screen recording video, so let's bring our flaps up to 0. Trim down a bit. So this is just basically a tech demo at this point. I'm going to put my track IR back on. There we go. Clear this master caution. Okay, so taxi light can come off. Engine start switches to off. Everything else looks good here. 233 knots, which is fine. We're below 250, below 10,000 feet. Okay, give ourselves some positive trim here. Move our auto brakes to 0. Still nosing down a bit. Let's bring that trim back. Alright, let's have a look. Turn off track IR. This is the beautiful scenery around Phoenix. If you guys have never flown in here, highly recommended. It's a great city, really nice. Let's make a right turn and do a right downwind and come back in for a landing on 26 again. Again, this is nothing's programmed in here. I don't have anything on my autopilot. Right now we're at 5,000 feet, so let's dial in 5,000 feet and let's go to auto throttle arm. Flight director's on. Let's see, what's our heading now? 288. So let's go to heading 315 and bring our speed up a bit, and we're going to go Command A. Let's turn our, there we go. Okay, so we've got our auto throttle activated. Let's go to heading mode. Leveling out on 315, 5,000 feet, and let's bring our speed to about 1.6, let's say 180 knots. Okay, we are still climbing. Let's bring our altitude hold mode in. Okay, auto throttle is going to come back. We're going to start shedding some altitude here. Let's bring our vertical speed mode online. And let's go down by about 600 feet per minute. Looking to the right. Okay, I think we can bring ourselves by about 90 degrees to the right, so let's go to 315, 075 degrees. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I was having a bit of trouble with this microphone because it sounded like I was talking through a sock, so I'm going to try and keep my voice up. I do have the desktop audio turned down and my microphone maxed. So let's see how well that goes. Let's go to our outside view here. Okay, here's the airport over here. Track IR is coming back on. Okay, still coming around to 075 degrees. Let's see what our master caution is. We're not sure. Fasten seatbelt lights are on. Emergency exit lights are on. Okay, it's showing an off-schedule descent on my physical VRinsight 737 overhead panel that I have beside me. It mirrors the exact overhead panel that we see above us. Let me just turn this off. Above us here. Okay, so it's the same thing, and I have it on my video on my YouTube channel where I preview and show off my gaming rig setup. So check that video out and you'll see what I'm actually using to my right here, the VRinsight 737 Pro overhead. It is fantastic. It's an absolute game changer. Okay, speed is coming down. We're still descending, 5,000 feet. Let's hit vertical speed mode, and we're going to aim for 4,100 feet, and we're descending by 400 feet per minute. And we're going to alter our course a bit to the right. Let's go 80 degrees. Well, our 90 degrees is the reciprocal heading for the runway, so let's move this way a bit. And you can see off to about 1 o'clock up here, you can see the runway. Let's keep our speed up. Let's go for about 190 knots, just so it doesn't take forever and a day to get there. And I'm going to alter our altitude to stay up at about 4,600 feet because I don't want to get too low. And we'll divert a bit more to the right. Checking the outside view. Beautiful. Perfect weather, perfect day. Everything's behaving perfectly. Look at that engine heat blur. That is so awesome. I love the PMDG 737. It is high fidelity. It's a beast. And it works well with all my realistic hardware setup that I have here. Okay, so we're on a right downwind for runway 26. Again, not using VATSIM or anything here. This is basically just my first screen recording. I'm just seeing how it works out. Again, I hope the audio is good. I know I'm going to end up having to buy another microphone. But let's just work with what we have for now. But hopefully this is going to be the first of many videos I upload showcasing the technology of my PC, some of my peripherals, and some of my software. I do have DCS. I have a ton of aftermarket airports for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. It's diverting a bit to the left here. And I think we're going to have some good times here. And certainly if you guys have any questions, if you want to see any other hardware that I have, let me know. Read my hardware description that's on my hardware preview that I uploaded today, earlier. It shows everything that I've got in terms of computer hardware, and should be some good food for some discussion. So definitely hit me up in the comments. We're going to slow our speed down to about 185 knots here, and we're going to bring in flaps 5. Speed check. We're good. So flaps 5 is coming down. You can see in here I did not customize the fuel. Let's see if I can set that now. Again, this is extremely unrealistic. This is not the way I fly, but let's give ourselves 1/3 fuel. There we go. We're balanced. And I'm getting some real vibrations from the haptic Buttkicker device. If you guys don't have one of those for your sim or racing rig, you need to get one. I have the Buttkicker Gamer Plus. It is great. Alright, let's set up our auto brakes. 2 for landing. Let's arm our speed brakes. Let's get our engines into continuous. So looking at the overhead on here, okay, you can see down here at the bottom we've switched over to continuous. I've got all my lights on here. And we are looking good. Window heat's on. I've got a low pressure and an overheat showing here on my overhead panel. That's fine. Let's get back to our cockpit view here. Take a quick look out to the right here with our track IR. Okay, I can see the pattern is full. Again, we're not talking to ATC at the moment, which is fine, but I just want to see how this video turns out. I want to stimulate some conversation about your favorite jets to use in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's bring ourselves down to 180 knots now. And let's start bringing our altitude down a bit here too. Let's go down to 4,300 feet, 500 feet per minute down. That's using the CoreFlight Technologies MCP. So instead of having to mess around with this mode control panel up here to control the autopilot, I'm controlling it from a physical panel in front of me. I have the EFIS controls as well as the MCP mounted directly ahead of my yoke. Off to my right in arm's reach, I have my VRinsight 737 overhead panel mounted on a monitor arm, which is attached to my computer desk. So this setup works really, really well, and it's realistic. Okay, let's take a quick look out. All right, there's the airport off to our 5 o'clock. That's off to the right over here. So I'm going to feel comfortable turning in shortly for about a 3 to 5 mile final. We're getting set up for our landing. Again, this is very rough indeed. I'm not using any of my flight engineer, my MCDU, anything like that. This is all basically using the autopilot panel. Excuse me. Let's go back to our track IR. So this is tracking my head movements using an IR reflector that I have mounted on my ball cap that I'm wearing, so I can tell where my head is in space. If you guys don't have track IR for your home flight sims, you should reconsider. It again is a game changer. And I'm not a guy who's into VR as much. I do have PSVR, PlayStation 4 VR, but I can't get into the fact that it doesn't, and I'll give you that it's older resolution, it's older technology, but I don't want that thing on my face. I don't appreciate the lower resolution. For me, triple or quad monitors with the track IR is a fantastic solution, along with some of the physical controls to actually reach out and touch. It's kind of the best flight sim you can have in your home. Okay, let's turn 90 degrees to the right. So if we're going from 090, we're going to go to 180. 180 set. You can see it dialing in on here. I'm actually setting it on here as well. Let's bring our speed back to 175 knots for approach. Okay, considering actually we're at 174 knots at the moment. And let's start bringing our speed down. I'm going to set 2,500 feet on the altitude, and I'm going to start just reducing on our vertical speed mode by 250 feet per minute. Okay, so that'll give us a nice shallow descent. I don't want to end up too shallow on the descent. I want to be able to see those PAPI lights on approach. And we should be leveling out on a base leg. Okay, here's the airport down here. Off to about our 2 o'clock. You know, just not quite at our 3 o'clock, but it's our 2 o'clock anyways. Let's turn off the track IR for the external view and enjoy some of the high resolution views of our beautiful 737-800 and the views of Phoenix midday. Alright, let's get a view on our airport. We're still too early to turn in. Keep that auto throttle activated. We'll keep our autopilot panel as it is. Shallow descent. I'm going to shallow it out even more, in fact. Let's go down to 100 feet per minute. 50 feet per minute. I don't want to get too low here. In fact, I'm going to bring that up to 3,000. Okay, so very shallow descent. Track IR is coming back on. Let's sit up in our seat here a wee bit. Look off to the right. Alright, there's the runway. Let's turn 90 degrees to the right. I'm going to set 260, and we're going to slow down to 170 knots. Let's sit back down in our seat. Oh, not that far. Okay. We may have overshot a bit. Let's see here once we get lined up. There we go. Runway's dead ahead. And Looks like we're going to level out nicely here. Let's take a look outside. Okay, there we go. Let's start bringing that altitude down by about 250 feet per minute. Let's go 500 feet per minute. Okay, 160 knots. Gear down. Gears coming down. Let's have a look outside, see what that looks like. Okay, gears coming down, and let's go flaps 15. You can hear that butt kicker rumbling in the background. Okay, and let's go flaps 25. Auto throttle's still in. Let's deviate a bit to the right here, because again, I'm not using ILS or anything, so we're doing a non-precision approach here. It's essentially VFR. It is VFR. Okay, there's a 2,500 foot call out. Don't want to get too shallow here. Let's bring it back to 250 knots. Or sorry, 250 feet per minute down. Currently it's got the altitude set for 3,000 feet. Okay, we can start deviating back towards 260 degrees, which is our landing runway. Alright, let's zoom in a bit here. Take a look at our runway. Okay, we're still quite high. Let's still keep coming down 500 feet per minute. Alright, 170 knots. We're still looking good. Set a bit to the left here. Looking good. Okay, so we've got gears down and lock 3 green. Flaps 25 showing, indicating green light. Let's set our rate of descent to 750 feet per minute. And we're going to look for those PAPI lights. And let's zoom in and have a good look at the runway, see if we're lined up properly. Yeah, we're a bit to the left, so let's go back to 260 degrees. Altitude's coming down. Let's set this to 2,500 feet for the altitude. I want to get down nice and low. And let's set our approach speed down to about 145 knots. Scrub off some of that speed. Set the altitude bug to 2,000. And let's go to 750 feet per minute down. Again, we can take over any time here, but I want to try and use the automation to its maximum. Okay, let's disconnect the autopilot. My airplane. We're going to keep the auto throttle on for now. Trim down. Speeds come down to 150 knots now. Still a bit high. Okay, here we go. Let's zoom in a bit here. Okay, pull back a little wee bit. Checked. 1,000 feet. Okay, we're going to disconnect the auto throttle, my throttles. Okay, we're still high on the PAPIs. 150 knots. Bring the throttles back a bit more. Shallow that descent. 144 knots. Okay, it looks like we're on the glide slope. 3 white, 1 green. Sorry, 3 white, 1 red. Okay, speed's coming up. Okay, there we go. PAPIs, 2 white, 2 red. Speed's coming back. Okay, checking our speed. 141 knots. Shallow that descent out. There we go. Okay. Touchdown. And down. Spoilers and reversers. Reverse green, decel. 80 knots. And 60 knots. Reversers out. Manual braking. We're going to take our turn off here on the left. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Phoenix. Steer to the left. Throttles to 0. And we're going to hold at the short line here before crossing over. And we'll park it up right there. Parking brakes are on. And let's do an external view here. Taxi lights on. Let's get this recentered. Put those spoilers down. Beautiful. Thanks for watching, guys.